Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Ethan.
I watched the first half of Lake Placid.
I watched the second half of Lake Placid.
And this
is the other half. Summer Screamin'.
I loved this movie.
Oh. Mike, this movie was bad.
It was bad. It was really bad. It's so bad. I hated how the main women was treated in the movie. Terribly. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like any character in this.
Every
entire
character
movie.
was fucking terrible.
Yep.
I hope they all got eaten by it. Nope. One character's great. Betty White.
Betty White.
Goated.
Kills her husband?
She kind of, not really, no.
Mm.
She kind of Tiger Kings him.
Oh, okay.
Kinda.
I just love the vibe of this movie. This is pure mid 90s stupidity.
This feels like Anaconda.
Yes,
This feels
that's
exactly
exactly
like
what it is.
Anaconda to me.
It's exactly what it is. It just feels like I would like. This is you're it's 2 p.m. It's summer, and you're just scrolling through channel
HBO or something.
Yeah, you're just scrolling through channels, and then all of a sudden you see Oliver Platt with a beard, and you're just like, I gotta see this fucking movie.
Yep.
That's what this movie's about, baby. It's not
true.
about plot. It's not about making sense. It's not about, people acting like human beings. It's
just like every character's so self-righteous in their own way, and they
Yeah.
just don't ever compromise. And it's
Who's your least favorite character?
I mean, honestly, it's my boy Oliver Platt from The Bear.
He's a piece of shit in this movie.
He's so fucking annoying.
He's awful in this movie.
He's so annoying. All he wants to do is save this fucking crocodile.
Yeah. Well, he believes they're deities. He believes they're godly for some reason.
Yeah, he thinks they're dragons.
I don't like him. I don't like the sheriff.
I don't like the sheriff, and those two beat butt heads all the time. I kind of side more with the sheriff most of the time, which is a weird thing to say. But I don't like him either. He sucks.
He's doing a terrible accent.
I don't like fucking Jack.
Jack is awful. He's nothing. And I hate how the movie writes the lady character,
Yeah,
Kelly.
she's the most okay, but she just really is just so...
It's not her
She's
fault.
just kind of weak written.
Yeah,
She's
it's
just
the writing. Yeah, it's the writing.
Bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
The only character is Betty White's character, Mrs. Dolores Bickerman.
Mm-hmm.
She fucking owns, but she has one note. She's one note as hell.
Old lady. That was the thing I was surprised about the most when the opening title started rolling. One, bad font. Two, cast is stacked. There's so many we've not actually mentioned Bill Pullman plays Jack. Oliver Platt, who's the person we did pick on, plays one of the characters who's obsessed with crocodiles. The sheriff is played by the dude from The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah. Is her name Bridget Fonda?
Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, she plays Kelly.
I don't know who Bridget Fonda is though.
She's Jane Fonda's daughter.
Okay, I was gonna make a guess that was she's Nepo baby style.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to be like
she's a Nepo baby.
Fonda.
She was also in.
She's in a lot.
She is. She was in
Single White Female, Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown and Single White Female, both movies we've seen for the podcast.
Okay. Godfather Part 3.
Sure, my favorite.
She's married to Danny Elfman.
She is. Get it, girl. Still married to Danny Elfman?
I think so. That's what it says.
Well, good choosing.
I'll be honest, this is the first time I ever looked at Danny Elfman. Why is his hair orange?
Because he's a redhead.
Wait, that's his natural hair color?
This is his natural hair color.
Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't.
This has gotten so far off of Lake Placid.
This has gotten so far off Lake Placid for good reason.
For good reason.
I didn't realize redheads grow their hair long. Like men, which makes no sense.
Happening?
But I don't think I've ever seen a redhead.
You didn't think the redhead men could grow their hair
Name
long?
one redheaded person besides Carrot Top who's got curly hair, who has long hair as a man.
You are putting up a bunch of... Wait, what about women?
Women don't. As I said, a man. Of course.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? Are we going to get into gender politics right now?
I mean, in the follicles. A women can grow long hair like men can.
You're right. If you think about it for more than 5 seconds, which I have never done in my life.
Apparently not.
Never did that. Of course, redheads
redhead
grow
women,
long hair.
And you're definitely men can't do that.
Oh, boys can't do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they all look like Carrot Top when they come out. It just becomes a big, tall, curly hair.
Oh my God, that is fucking
I
absurd.
thought I was just like, obviously he dyed it. There's no way that could happen.
Obviously, there's no way that redheads can
I
grow
didn't
their
know.
hair out
I honestly
long.
did not know Danny Elfman was a redhead. That's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a musician. You didn't see him performing. You know, you've only listened to the music that he performed. You know.
I mean, even Oingo Boingo did not. I don't think I've ever seen a music video from them. So.
But you did see the Forbidden Zone or whatever the fuck it's called, right?
Oh,
That's an Oingo Boingo movie.
nice. That's true.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're getting off topic. Okay.
Bridget Fonda. She's in this movie.
The casting in this movie is performed by a lady named Lisa Beach, and I'm like, what a great name.
Lisa Beach.
Lisa Beach did the casting in this movie, and I love that. I love that a woman whose last name is Beach did the casting for a movie called Lake Placid. Great. And also, Stan Winston, baby.
I didn't realize Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda are all like part of the
They're
same
all
family.
Nepos.
That's fucking crazy.
Nepos all the
I
way
did
down.
not know that.
Jane
Anyway,
Fonda's
yes.
and I'm right about Bridget Fonda being a Nepo baby to.
Yes, no,
Jane
she's
Fonda, right?
She's from Jane Fonda and Peter Fonda.
That's right. And then
Grandfather Henry Fonda.
And her,
Crazy.
Henry Fonda's her dad. Yeah, no, that's why Jane Fonda was able to get like a lot of the at the time when she first. Fuck this. Jane Fonda's amazing. I'm not shitting on Jane Fonda here. We're not talking about Jane
that's
Fonda.
the other thing. That's the other thing. In my opinion, Nepo babies, if you can act, who gives a shit? All right? You just got an easy door in.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all.
Yeah.
But like, if you can do your job, who cares? You know, if a plumber comes and is like, I'm gonna fix your sink, and they're like, my kid's here, he's gonna fix your sink for me. I'm like, well, if he does a good job, who gives a shit?
Bridget Fonda does good in this movie.
Yeah.
It's not her acting is not the problem with her character.
No.
It is the writing of her character.
The writing of her character is like paper thin.
Hate her. Movie opens. Fish and wildlife go diving in to monitor beaver behavior, which has to be a joke, right?
It has to be a joke.
Yeah.
Diving into beavers? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. The local country sheriff monitors but isn't taken seriously. He eats Twinkies and he listens to.
Who's the local sheriff? Is it Hector? Not Hank. Hank. Sorry.
What's his name? Is it Hector?
No, it's Hank.
Hank?
Yeah.
Hector is Oliver Platt's
character.
Hank is the other guy.
Is Hank the sheriff who eats Twinkies and hangs out?
Yes.
It's played by Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Right. And that's another Nepo baby. His son is Domhnall Gleeson.
Huh. I don't know who that is.
You do know who that is. He was Hux in the new Star Wars movies.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
Another redhead.
Yeah. And I don't think he grows hair out long. I've never seen him with long hair. Yeah.
My point stands.
The diver is attacked, thrashed around, or ripped apart by
Classic
something.
Shit. You know what?
What?
I will say.
Chicken butt.
No. The CGI in this movie, not great. Animatronics, though.
It's because of Stan Winston.
It's true.
Stan Winston,
Please
for
explain.
those who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
he was an incredible animatronic whiz back in the day. He made the giant T-Rex in Jurassic Park and also all of the Velociraptors. He also made the T2 in or the Terminator in T2.
Xenomorphs, an alien.
He made the Xenomorphs and Alien. He made the first Iron Man suit. Dude was a killer. I loved him. He's dead, sadly.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. He got eaten by a crocodile.
Damn. What a way to go, though.
I know. No, but that's why it looks so good. But barely seen, I think, right?
Not in my half, buddy.
Really? You see a lot in your half of the
That
movie?
motherfucker is all over the place.
I only see CG Croc in my half of the movie.
Oh, you
and
don't
it's
see the
disappointing.
You don't see the animatronic?
Never see the
Animatronic's so
animatronic,
sick
as far as I'm aware. Yeah. So the divers attacked, thrashed around, ripped apart. Jack investigates.
Who's Jack? What does he do?
He apparently works for the Fish and Wildlife as well, and so he's just sort of like he's like a downed, Fish and Wildlife officer. I got to check in on that.
Sure.
I don't
know anything about this character.
He's nothing. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's nothing.
No one is. Look, if this movie taught me anything, no one is anything.
I know I came in really positive about this movie. It's not a good movie.
Here's the thing, Mike.
What?
This would be a movie I'd be like, oh, I fucking love this. But
Right.
let me tell you, the ending of this movie is the biggest wet fart I've ever seen.
No,
I legitimately was like, wait, this is the end of the movie?
Wow.
This is it? Like, most of the time you see like a monster movie or something, like, okay, here's the real thing that's
right,
going to happen.
Right.
No. The end of the movie is like, that's it? That's it.
No. Oh, no. What does that mean?
You'll see.
But yeah, there's no reason for anybody to be fucking... it's like... I don't know. It's like he shows up because the other Fish and Wildlife guy shows up. He works for Fish and Wildlife, and he's investigating it all, right?
As you do.
As you would. Also, they recover a tooth from the attack.
Okay.
And that is
They're like, damn, there's a big tooth.
And that is where Kelly comes in, because Kelly.
You think if you like put a crocodile big tooth under your pillow, like the tooth fairy's gonna pay extra?
The croc fairy.
The croc fairy is gonna pay like, you usually get like what, like $5 or something. You probably pay like $50, but you get like $50 for a croc.
$5 for a tooth?
Well, I'm talking about like old. Okay. I didn't adjust it for inflation.
Wow, is that what you got for a tooth back in the day?
Yeah, $5.
Are you serious?
What did you get?
A quarter.
A quarter?
Maybe $1.
I'm pretty sure it was $5.
That is, I mean, sounds like your tooth fairy was.
My tooth fairy was loaded.
Apparently, my tooth fairy was not.
I'm like, this tooth fairy better be fucking worth it, or I'm keeping my teeth.
Pretty sure I got a quarter for mine.
Quarter?
About it, yeah.
Wow.
Because we also did a weird thing where if I remember correctly, we put our
your parents are listening to this and they're like, we paid that motherfucker $20.
I will say
like,
my parents do listen to this, but I'm pretty sure it was not $20. There's no way it was $20. I'm pretty sure we took our tooth and we put it in a little like plastic tooth.
Okay.
Like a big plastic tooth, and the idea
to,
was
like, make it bigger.
Well, it was like the size. It was the size of like, oh gosh, like a. I don't know, like what was the size of this thing? I'm looking around, like kind of like the size of like a cork, like a wine cork.
Okay, sure.
Okay, and so you'd put the tiny tooth in that big tooth, and I'm assuming the idea, and this is a sneaky thing to do, is then the parents would have a very similar looking giant plastic tooth, and that's where they would put the coin in, and then they would slide that giant plastic tooth.
That's smart.
It's pretty smart. I mean, I've never talked to my parents about this. I'm assuming that's what they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think $20. $20.
I mean, I'm joking.
I will say I might have gotten $20 for my last tooth because it was a big
Oh
deal.
yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure it was either $5 or $1. I can't remember, to be honest.
What are you talking about? You have drastically changed.
$5 and $1, not that much crazy.
You said $20 earlier.
I said $20 as saying your parents would be upset if they're giving you $20 and you remember it as a quarter. I was saying.
What did you get?
I got like $5 or $1. I don't remember.
You said $20 earlier.
I said $20 when I was making an example of like your parents are listening to this.
No, this was earlier than that.
No, it wasn't.
Was it
I never
not?
said I never got $20.
Oh,
if I got $20,
no.
I'd be fucking loaded, bro.
That's why I was
As
shocked.
a kid, I'd be like, whoa. No, it was like $5.
Okay.
$5 is probably what I would get, which is still
Definitely
more than
not-
25 cents.
Definitely not $5 for me
Okay,
either.
so that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But anyway, how much do you think you'd get if you were at a gator tooth? It's got to be like $100 at that point.
$50.
$50, right?
$50.
It's gotta be $50 for a gator tooth.
But for a gator like this,
Ooh.
this is a very rare gator.
That's
In
like
fact, they
$100.
send that tooth to archaeologists.
Oh, how much do they pay for that?
Well, they didn't pay anything. They were just sort of like,
What the fuck?
we got to look into this. We got to look into this tooth because it's like, why is there a giant dinosaur tooth in the middle of Maine? We're introduced to
They legitimately call it a dinosaur tooth?
That's what they think it is a dinosaur tooth. And so they talk to Kelly. Kelly is dumped by her boss, whose name is Kevin.
Oh, so they had a thing?
They had a thing, her and Kevin.
Okay.
And then her friend Myra.
Why do
What?
women in like movies always have like a thing where they're like, we're getting out of a relationship, we're doing a thing. It's always like relationship based.
I don't like it.
But I think that's
sucks.
just how this character is written. Shitty.
It is shitty. She's her friend Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order SVU shows up, and she's the one who's been sleeping with her boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing. And so Kevin goes to talk to Kelly after he's broken up with her. And she's learned that Myra, her friend, who's played by Mariska Hargitay, has been sleeping with Kevin, basically.
Gotcha.
And so Kevin walks into on Kelly, like looking at dinosaur bones. And Kelly's like,
Hey, Kevin, what's going on? What's happening? How's it going? How's your family? Good? It's great. So nice to see you. Fuck off.
Wow.
It's a great line reading.
It's pretty good.
So Kevin tells Kelly to go to Maine to check out the tooth, and she's just like, I don't do field work. Like, I don't want to go to Maine.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're just trying to get rid of me because this breakup is awkward.
Okay.
And that's obviously what it is, but he completely denies it. And she does that thing, just like we saw in the previous movie, where she's like, I'm not going. There's no way I'm going. There's no way I'm going to go to the Maine. And then you hard cut, and she's on
driving
a plane
in,
to
like,
Maine.
a plane or
exactly.
on a fucking riverboat or whatever.
Exactly.
Probably don't have riverboats in Maine, but you know.
So she sees the tooth. She sees the body of the dead man, which shocks her. And at this point, I'm like, the movie's trying to imply like, oh god, she's just like a New York lady.
Oh yeah.
She's never seen
Classic.
a dead body before. But I'm like, I mean, I understand, it's a dead body. Like, that's a shocking thing to see. And this guy was ripped apart by a giant.
It's acting like, oh man, it's weird to not see a dead body before.
But at first, I'm like, I'm giving the movie the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, well, her surprise is a little bit exaggerated. But
sure.
If I was put in that same situation, I'd probably respond the same way. It's a man ripped apart by a giant crocodile.
That's pretty fucking traumatic.
It's a pretty horrifying thing.
I don't really want to see people eaten by things.
But as the movie continues, we realize, no, Kelly is apparently just a very sensitive person because she's lived in New York her entire life. Oh. And the movie very much preys on us laughing at the fact
New
that
York
she's
in 1999 was a very simple place to live in.
That's
there wasn't
very
anything
true.
Weird there.
It's very true.
Any sort of crime going on constantly or anything.
I think they bring up Giuliani at one point, actually, if I remember correctly.
Anytime New York appears, they gotta have Giuliani.
You got to.
In the 90s and 2000s.
So Jack doesn't want Kelly to investigate because she is an interloper and she's getting in the way. She hates camping and she doesn't like pooping in the woods. Again, I kind of understand, but at this point, the movie's starting to she's the butt of the joke. It's like, can you believe this lady?
This city person doesn't like doing roughing it.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
well, also she was sent here and didn't really want to go.
She didn't even want to go, but now she's committing to the role that it's been thrust upon her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they go talk to Betty White, who lives near the lake. They say that her husband might have died via crocodile attack, or something, but she's like, nope, I killed my husband to end his suffering. That's the way it went.
She killed him?
That's what she says. She killed her husband.
Okay, I don't think that's legal. I feel like if anything, that's worse.
I agree with you, but I don't know. That's what the movie's doing.
He's like, that's fine.
This scene happens, and then they just cut away. I'm like, I guess there's no
repercussions. No repercussions being like, yeah, I killed my husband.
I fucking killed him.
Fuck that guy.
And then they're like, we don't believe you. And then they're like, and then she's like, go dig up his body, investigate it. And I'm like, what? What are you really committing to this? But I think maybe she's trying to keep people away from the river. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who fucking cares? So they take a boat across the lake, and as they go through, they realize that there's a branch in the middle of the lake that's stopping the boat from. It's not even a boat. It's like a canoe. And so they try to move the branch, and they realize it's not a branch. It's actually antlers of a moose, and it's a moose head that's been attacked by a crocodile. And what's his name? The guy, the sheriff.
Oh, his name? You want me
Hank?
to get... I think it's Hank, yeah.
Hank picks up the moose head, drops it in the canoe next to Kelly, and Kelly's just like, and I'm like, okay, now the movie's being a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah.
The head of a moose is definitely surprising, but you don't need to be responding that way.
You don't need to be screaming the whole time.
Jesus fucking Christ. So they set up camp with a bunch of other deputies, a bunch of the other staff of the police department, including one lady police officer. I don't know if you see her in your movie.
Dolores Bickerman. No, that's not.
That's Betty White.
That's Betty White.
Jesus Christ.
Sharon Gare.
Sharon Gare.
Sharon Gare.
Yeah, and Kelly's just like, hey, what's it like being a woman around all these boys? And she's just like, it's whatever. It's normal. It's not that big of a deal. Then Hector enters on a helicopter. Apparently, Hector and Kelly used to be an item.
They had to be an item? I thought they were friends or just knew each other from
Hector.
I thought they might have been related, to be honest.
Hector claims that they had sex with each other. And Kelly says, no, we did not.
I believe Kelly.
Because
Hector is a fucking creep.
And then Hector's like, wow, I guess I'm really bad at sex and no one remembers they ever had sex with me. And I'm like, what is this character? What is happening here?
It's like they were trying to write Elon Musk before he existed.
Oh my God, that's so accurate,
yeah.
dude. Oh,
they're
that's so
this
true.
is a tech billionaire that, it's like they were saw Bill Gates and this guy's weird. And it's like,
what if we made him weirder?
Yeah. And it's he's weird, but not that weird.
I mean, he can jump over a chair, but that's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
He's a little pushy when it comes to business deals, but he's not that crazy of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's no, we want someone who's absolutely batshit insane.
And they're like, who are we gonna cast for this cocksure confident guy? Oliver Platt.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's a big actor, is he? I don't think he's in too many. He's in a lot of things, but a lot of minor roles, right?
I guess, but he just doesn't give that off. He doesn't give that vibe, you know.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he's definitely better cast in The Bear when he's kind of just old uncle who.
Yeah, or in Merry Friggin' Christmas where he's Santa. He's a drunk Santa.
Drunk Santa, he works fine.
He works great in Drunk
Works
Santa.
great in that, but being a weird kind of rich asshole
He's just a confident, cocksure guy who's also apparently getting a lot of sex on the side. I'm like,
a lot of sex, and says he believes that crocodiles are dragons
and gods. I don't know. It's a very strange character to play, obviously.
Yeah.
Hector enters via helicopter. He chases crocodiles. He's overly confident. And then the four of them. So
how did he? What did someone call him?
No, he just shows up.
So he's just like, I'm looking.
I've heard that this is happening.
Okay. He's like on the old internet and is like, ooh, cool. There's some cool, weird crocodiles.
He probably heard about the attack and is like, that sounds like a crocodile attack, a very big crocodile.
Sure. Yeah.
So we have Hector, Jack, Hector and Jack, and then in one canoe. And in the other canoe, we've got Hank and Kelly.
Okay.
And they're all on a canoe. Hector is needlessly calling the sheriff fat. I'm like, sheriff's not a great guy, but like, what are you doing?
I hate. If I could remove the beef between Hector and Hank, it would be such a better movie. But they're like,
there's no reason for them to hate each other.
And also, like, it's weird that this movie made me side with Hank.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Hector's just such a fucking baby.
He's an asshole. Yeah. And then suddenly, the canoe that Kelly and the sheriff are in just capsize out of nowhere.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's not good. It's not a good thing.
It's a bad thing.
So they're back on land, and then they find a human toe that's covered in worms.
Oh, the worms are the enemy now. Why are you looking at me like that?
What are you talking about, the worms are the enemy now?
I'm making a joke. Making a joke about how
worms are to be taken.
Well, you said it's covered in worms.
It is covered in worms. The toe is
not
covered
in
worms.
crocodiles, which is a real threat.
Apparently,
the worms are the new threat.
They apparently say these worms are like only occur around certain crocodiles. So they're like,
what the fuck? Especially these worms.
Dude, I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know.
These worms love crocodile shit. Okay. They love to come out and they're like, ooh, I love the dookie from a croc. Let me tell you, and only ancient crocs, old crocs.
They see this toe covered in worms and they're like, yep, it's crocodile.
What the fuck?
I know. I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. That's what the movie is trying to accomplish here. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. So
not like these are specific worms.
That's what they say. There's specific worms.
Okay, maybe, sure.
I guess
it's still weird.
It's a lot to take in. Basically, what the movie's trying to accomplish now is like, hey, I know it's a lot to assume that there was a giant crocodile in this particular water, because that's the other thing, right? Is I think at one point one of the characters is like, a crocodile wouldn't survive in this kind of water. A crocodile only exists in another kind of water.
Yeah, I mean, Maine is cold, right?
Right, and then I think Hector is just like, come on, bro, chill out. Like, that's not true. Like, there's no, you know how in piranha, for instance, they're just like, yeah, this is a genetically modified piranha that can exist in either fresh or salt water.
And you're like, okay.
Sure, I accept it. In this movie, there's not even that.
There's not. They're just like, it's a big crocodile.
It's just a fucking crocodile. What the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so at this point, it's basically to just give the audience the allowance of like, yeah, there's a giant crocodile in the water, and now everyone knows what the...
honestly kind of nuts that a movie just says, no, it's just a natural occurring... Like 90% of movies that are like, it's a weird thing. It's like, oh, this is because it's something modified or whatever. I guess the Meg didn't do that, right?
No, the Meg. Well, the Meg was like that megalodon is in a very particular part of the ocean floor. Yeah. And it escaped from it, right? So that kind of makes somewhat more sense than just like, this is a big fucking crocodile. This is a big crocodile. What are you going to do? I don't know how it wound up here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not explained in your half, is it?
Nope.
Well, there you go. So they're back on land, back at camp, and it's a big party. Some of the officers are digging a giant hole.
There's a bunch of people died. Why are they partying?
Because Hector wants to get laid. And so Hector has thrown a big party. Okay. And
I hate him so much.
Well, just fucking wait a second. Because he's thrown a big old party and he's dancing with the one female officer. And he says,
law enforcement is very dangerous work, isn't it? And you have such big, wonderful boobs.
I also like that Mike, by the way, Mike was dancing with his hands the whole time.
This is how he's
basically swinging his hands left and right.
He is doing, right. Tell me how people, this is how he's dancing.
Okay. So he's got his hands out in front and then he puts his hands back in the back of him to the side. Like, he's crossing them. Yeah. It's the most basic ass dance I've ever seen.
And I'm like, how is this like attracting? And like the lady, like police officer is just like, hell yeah, I cannot wait to get some Hector inside of me. Like, what is going on? Like, this is absurd. So then Hank shows up and just breaks the party up immediately. Kelly and Jack discuss skipping stones. She explains that she doesn't want to go back to her job because her ex-boyfriend is her boss, and she doesn't want to be a part of that. The sheriff wakes up to take a whiz, and he hears a noise, and then he points a gun, and he realizes it's Hector in the middle of the woods. And then and Hector's setting up a little like trap because he's like, we got to make sure that if the croc comes anywhere near us, it's trapped. Hector believes that crocs are divine and they are worshipped by all ancient religions. And all also that's fucking what all they say. It's what they fucking all ancient religions, and then they list them all. And I'm like, I'm just gonna you know, it's kind of amazing for a movie to establish something and immediately I'm like, that's not true. Immediately I'm like, obviously that's not true.
This movie really has the balls to be like, we're just going to say something.
Those are croc worms.
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Obviously it's not
like,
true.
This movie really is like, we're going to try to fuck with your sense of disbelief.
Reality. Yeah, that's what it is.
Like,
the movie's gaslighting us.
You want to suspend your disbelief? Fuck you. We're going to make it really hard.
Yeah, it's true. So then they're all out on the river. Jack and Hector are going to go dive in to investigate like what's going on in the river, which seems dangerous. But
Jack and who?
Jack and Hector.
Yeah, sounds right.
They're gonna dive in, and so right before Hector dives in, Hector and the sheriff have a little spat.
Of course they do. It's the comic relief of this movie.
And so the sheriff Hank says,
"I brought a pork chop for luck. Maybe you could hang it around your neck."
That's sweet. Maybe later you could chew the bark off my big fat log.
Was that like a homosexual remark?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what is this
dialogue? What is this? Is this just like, hey, audience, you're fucking idiots. All right. So we're going to explain the joke to you. Obviously.
Every
you
scene...
fucking idiot, moron, stupids. You played for Lake Placid? Do you even know where Lake Placid is?
Yeah.
You fucking idiots. You saw a big crocodile and you thought it was going to be a good movie, you dumb asses.
I think there's even one part where they're like, we wanted to call the Lake Placid, but we didn't because it's already a taken name or something like that. Like,
what the fuck? So it's not even called Lake Placid?
No, not even. They wanted to call it that, but they didn't. And then it's true.
Why is this written like this?
I don't know. And it is true because it almost feels like you're like going up for air and then someone just keeps pushing you under the water.
Every time I'm like, I kind of enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, no, fucker. We're gonna say we're gonna say literally the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your life that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And not in like a fun, campy way. In like a serious way.
It's true. So while they're underwater, the boat anchor gets yanked. Kelly falls into the water yet again. Kelly, Jack, and Hector all climb back into the boat. And at this point, I'm just like, this crocodile is definitely like dangerous, but like it's not killing anybody yet. And so then they like pull up the anchor, and as they're pulling the anchor up, a random deputy his fucking head just gets bitten off by a giant crocodile.
Just pops up and chops his head off?
Yeah, it just eats his fucking head. And it's actually the guy he's in Galaxy Quest. He's one of the dudes, and he's one of the aliens in Galaxy Quest. You never see him in your half the movie. I just wanted to point that out. Okay. Then at this point, everyone's like, okay, there's definitely a giant fucking croc in the water.
This man gets fucking decapitated. Like, I guess there's someone here.
In fact, this shocks Hector so much that later that night, he talks to Hank, and he says, Hank, I don't know if I've ever told you about this. Why would he ever tell Hank about this? He's like, I have this recurring dream where I'm outside.
Oh, God.
And my parents are inside and they won't let me in, and my head falls off, and all of my friends are outside and they want to play soccer with my head, and I don't know what that means, Hank. What am I supposed to take away from that? And Hank's like, hey, I feel like me and you shouldn't talk anymore. And that's the end of my half of the
That's in your half. Wait, hold on. That story was different for me.
What was your story?
He was headless.
Yeah.
But his parents wouldn't let him in the house because they bought a bunch of antique lamps. They didn't want him bumping into them.
Right. But isn't there...
Oh, and then afterwards he says the friends thing.
I did mention the lamps. I'm sorry. Sue me.
How dare you? That was
obviously
the more interesting part.
Yeah. No, I think the more interesting part is that he's headless and his friends want to play soccer with his fucking head. Anyway.
I feel like the rejection of his parents is more important, but whatever.
That's fair.
Anyway, yes, that's where I came in, and he's like, I don't want to speak to you anymore. And then the sheriff guy, Hank, walks away and immediately gets caught in a trap. The trap that Hector set earlier.
Right.
To protect them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so our two protagonists show up, Kelly and Jack, who I do not know.
Right.
And they show up.
Could you tell immediately that they're the protagonists?
Of course, they have protagonist energy. They're both attractive.
You recognize one of them at least?
I recognize one of them at least.
Yeah.
They both are not just butt of jokes the whole time, just somewhat butt of jokes.
Yeah, they're both very attractive.
So then they're like, all right, we're going to get you down. And Hank, you're not going to hurt Hector. And then he's like, all right, I won't. And they bring him down because it's just a counterweight.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I'm going
to fucking kill him.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what this beef is. I don't know if they want to kiss. What's the deal here?
Right.
So they're about ready to fight, but the bear comes out of fucking nowhere.
Bear?
A bear shows up. And it's like, roar! And the bear's about ready to get him. And then a crocodile appears and eats the fucking bear. And everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
What the fuck?
This is crazy because this movie, from what you've seen at the beginning,
I've not seen the crocodile in my half of the movie.
Fucking ramps up in
really
my half
does.
compared to what you've done. Because in my half, I'm like, it just sounds like weird interpersonal bullshit that's poorly written.
Yeah. I'm mostly just seeing like a couple of guys bitching at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I guess this fucking crocodile wake up and just do crazy shit.
Right.
But yeah, so they're all like fucking like, holy shit. I can't believe this bear is here and like actually fucking
got eaten by a crocodile. Yeah. How was that effect? Is it look good?
I mean, CGI, but honestly, it looks not bad.
Yeah, for the time.
Yeah. And they started researching the crocodile because they now got a good view of it.
Right.
And, like, it's a crocodile from Asia.
It's a megalodon.
It crossed all the way from Asia, dude. Mm-hmm. It crossed an ocean.
Wow.
Hank is like, let's just shoot it. But Hector's like, no, it's gorgeous. It's nature. Don't shoot him. And therefore, it's the whole rest of the movie.
They can't kill it. Mm-hmm. They're all gonna listen to Hector.
Yeah, because like, look, it's a big crocodile. You can fucking kill with like modern machinery. Come
yeah,
on.
it's true.
It's not that crazy.
With a gun.
Yeah, with a bunch of big guns, you could definitely kill it.
Yeah.
Kelly fixes up Jack because he got hurt by like the bear thing that happened. He got a little beat up, cut, I guess. Don't really know how, but she's like, "Oh, are you hurt? I'll fix you." And so
she kisses it better.
They go in their tent. Intimate.
Ooh.
She's like, I'll fix you up. And he's like, how did you know that? And she's like, well, my dad was a surgeon. And
Dad was a surgeon.
So she learned how to stitch people up. And she's like, this thing, it's crazy. It means that like nature's changing. Like things are different. Things are crazy. And she's like, this is the first time I've been in the middle of anything. I've only like read about things, but I've never been in the middle of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, we should go to bed. Isn't that a weird thing to say?
That
Mike?
is a weird thing to say. No, we should go to bed.
We should go to bed. So what's weird about it, Mike?
Wait, how does she mean it? Like we should fuck?
She does. It does not sound like that to me.
It's just like we should go to bed.
We should go to bed.
Oh well, wait. Okay, I will say the way that you've posed this story is like, hey man, I'm fixing you up. My dad is a thing. We should go to bed. Like, there's no like subtlety of like changing the subject here.
So
it is weird to just immediately, if it, you know.
So maybe this is me, but maybe I just didn't see this as a weird situation because I was like, she just asked to go to bed, and then she's like, oh, I mean, like, that's a weird thing to say. Go to bed at separate tents and sleep separately.
Yeah, that's what my instinct was as well.
Yeah. Okay. But she makes it a whole thing that's weird, and he also sees it like, oh, that's weird. You asked me to go to bed. And I'm like.
Oh, well, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't respond that way. I'd probably go like, oh, yeah, no, you're right. We should just go to bed. Not together.
Yeah, that's the obvious thing, but he makes it sound like, wait, do you want to fuck?
You want to fuck? Is that what you were asking me right now?
And she's like, no,
bro.
I just want to go to like separate tents. And it's like,
yeah, okay. That's a little forced.
It's really forced, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if it was just me being someone who does not pick up on signals. Being like, obviously she's just tired. Go to bed. Yeah, but he's like, you want to fuck?
That's absurd.
That's a little like a bit of a stretch.
Absurd.
Even she is like, oh, that's weird. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a weird thing.
That's a weird thing.
So then Hector is talking to Hank, and he's talking about like, oh, the biggest one. Like, this is a huge one. It's gonna be 30 feet long. Like
right.
The largest we've ever figured out was like, there was one that was like 30 feet long as well. Like we figured out like they're just as big, and I'm like, that's not that impressive then.
Yeah, then it's not a special crocodile.
But I looked it up, and I'm like, the longest crocodile that was ever around is like 23 feet long.
That's pretty impressive.
Which is still pretty fucking big.
That's
like
massive.
If you look at them, they're huge.
Yeah, that's really big.
So this one is even bigger than that. But it's like
that's really
big.
I'm like 23 feet.
It's huge. Yeah,
It's really big.
There were some in captivity that were
It's
like
almost
huge.
as big as my dick.
Just as biting as ever.
Yep.
Just like your dick. So Hector, the Hector's like, all right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get my helicopter. I'm gonna
23 feet. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's IRL. Yeah, it's real life.
That's insane.
I know it's like not that much of an exaggeration how much bigger this one is.
30 feet?
Yeah, they're like, this is already
I'm
30
like
feet.
I'm literally trying to conceive of an animal that's that big, like other than like an elephant, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you just look up largest crocodile on your phone, you'll be shocked. It's
Okay.
fucking huge, man.
Let me look up large crocodile
It's
on my
fucking
phone.
huge.
Holy shit, that's a big crocodile.
It's kind of great. Like, honestly, you're like, damn, is that an effect?
Is that an effect?
Like, they're huge, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Hector's like, I'm gonna get my helicopter and I'm gonna just fly and dive in with the crocodile for some reason.
Right.
Just like the last movie, people
Yeah.
making dumbass decisions.
Of course.
Like for no reason. And he's got Deputy Sharon Gare.
Sharon Gare?
Sharon Gare is there.
That's a very easy name to say.
Is that now I'm like questioning, is their name? Is that really her name? Yeah, Sharon Gare.
I never see Sharon in my half of the movie.
Yeah, you do. She's the other. She's the
Oh,
other
I thought
deputy.
that was somebody other person.
It's Sharon Gare, dude.
Sharon
You don't remember Sharon Gare?
No, I don't. I don't
You don't
remember
remember
Sharon.
Sharon fucking Gare?
I don't remember her name.
All right, well, I do because she's there and she sees this man go in and swim in the crocodile. Don't really know what his goal is. He just goes and swims in there and she's like, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, I'll sleep with you. Don't do it. And I'm like,
What the fuck?
What the fuck is happening? Why would you say that?
This movie feels like it was like translated into English. From
Yes,
another
it does.
language.
It's like, or like by aliens.
Yeah.
The aliens wrote this.
AI.
And he's like, no, AI wouldn't have this much fun. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, all right, I guess. Cut to Kelly. She steps somewhere and a head gets thrown on her. She's very upset.
Head?
A head? Someone's decapitated head gets thrown on her. She's very tired of heads being thrown on her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Snake pops out of it. I don't know why snakes would
A
want to
snake
go.
comes out of the head?
Yeah, I don't know why a snake would go in like a corpse like that.
Like a skull. Whose head is this?
It's not a skull. It's like a full like juicy head. I don't know. I don't
There's a
recognize them.
skull in the head.
Yeah, but before I'm saying it's not just a skull. It's
I know,
more.
but there's a skull in the head. That's where it winds up, right?
Well, I mean, the snake is inside.
It's inside the head.
It's inside the head. Sure,
Where
it's
is-
inside the skull, I
Yes.
guess. But it's like that's not the main point of the head. The head has got skin and shit on it
I
still.
didn't say that it was a skull. I said that the snake was inside the skull. I said that the snake's inside the skull and the head.
You're being pedantic, Michael. You're being pedantic.
You are being pedantic.
You're being pedantic.
You're like, oh, I can't imagine a snake and a skull.
I wanted to give people the right picture. A snake pops out of a full skin-covered skull.
Otherwise known as a head.
Yes, that's what I
Yes.
said. God dang it. Why would a snake go in there? I don't know.
Yeah, why?
I don't
For
know.
food? For warmth?
Fucking maybe warm. It's cold. It's all
It's
cold,
cold.
and blue looking.
Yeah.
So
Whose
then-
head is it?
Don't know. I don't recognize him. It's probably the other guy's head. Maybe it spit it out. It was like,
okay.
ew, gross.
Spit it out.
I don't know. You said that guy's head got bit off.
Yeah.
So we hear some singing, some songs. Oh, down the river. They look and they see Betty White is singing to her cows as she leads him to the water to drink the water.
Oh,
and then the
to
crocodile
feed them.
comes out and eats the cow.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Okay? Cows are fucking expensive.
This is where Ethan draws the line.
You're not going to just go and be like, I'm a little small farmer lady on my
Right.
little farm with my little cows and be like, I'm going to feed this giant beast cows and it's going to be a sustainable lifestyle for me.
Right.
But apparently it is. So they go over to her and she's like, I haven't broken any laws. And she's like, they're like, why did you tell us the truth that you know about this crocodile and you've obviously been feeding it?
Right.
She's like, well, because you'll hunt it down and kill it. Are you not going to do that? And they're like, I don't know, maybe. It's like, also, did it kill your husband? She's like, well, it was an accident. Like, it was friends with us for a while, for like 6 years, and then we were taking some horses out, and it got mistaken with the horses.
Horses are even worse.
And it killed my husband, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And like, look, it's killing people now. And Betty White says, well, if he had a dick, this is where I would tell you to suck it. And I'm like, whoa.
All right, you know what? I'm starting to back off on this movie.
This is the part where I was in the movie. What are you talking about? Betty White telling some people to suck a crocodile's dick?
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
I thought she was talking to Kelly. saying like,
no.
Hey Kelly, if you had a dick,
she was telling them to suck the crocodile's dick because
okay.
the crocodiles don't have a dick, so they're cloaca.
I think crocodiles have a dick.
Do crocodiles have dicks?
Let me look it up.
Is this gonna be a very weird Google search on your hand? Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Let's see. Do crocodiles have dicks?
So anyway, yeah, killed the crocodile was a mistake. Reported all, come kill him. So Hector is now like, I'm going in the water.
I wrote down, do crocodiles have penises? And it is auto searching too. Do crocodiles have willies? Do crocodiles have wieners? Who is searching?
Who's searching willies?
Willies
and wieners, but not penises.
I know.
Anyway, Hector goes in the water. He's not gonna hurt him for some reason. Betty White says, "You cops, there's like murders and rapes in your city, but you come out here because one little cow is eaten. You all freak the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you, officer. Fuck me." And I'm like, okay, she's all right. She seems cool.
Yeah, ACAB.
So then the crocodile goes right up to Hector. He's like, "Oh my god, this is a really stupid idea." I'm like, "Yeah, you fucking idiot." The crocodile's there, and it's a really cool effect. Okay,
Wait.
Michael has an answer.
Apparently, alligator penises are permanently erect.
Wait, these are crocodiles, though.
I search crocodiles, and it keeps telling me about alligator penises.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you, but apparently alligator penises are always erect. And then they only pop out when needed.
Wait, how are they always erect and popped out when needed?
Because it's in a shaft. It's in a shaft.
Okay, so they have like...
What is a fucking... Look at this. I wrote crocodile, and it keeps showing me alligator penis. What is up, Google? I want to see crocodile penises.
Gemini loves showing you.
I can't come until I see a crocodile penis. You keep showing me alligator penises.
Listen, there's a reason. Crocodiles are way scarier, I guess.
Crocodiles are way scarier. That's true. But they don't want to show me a crocodile penis.
I guess not. I guess Google's just censoring
but
it, dude.
this is what they look like. This is what alligator penises look like.
Wow.
I know.
You could definitely suck that. You get absolutely 100%. Betty White, go back.
Look at this.
Come back.
This is what it is.
Whoa, that dude's fucking packing.
It is a crocodile on its back in the river, spread eagle, and its dick out.
Oh my god, that dick is as big as its hand. It's fucking crazy. I mean, it's his balls too, I guess.
I think its balls are inside.
But they lay eggs, right?
They do lay eggs. Its penis is hidden usually inside of its cloaca, and then it comes out when it needs it. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So it does have a dick. Betty White, you don't know shit. You've been fucking feeding this crocodile for like 6 years and you don't know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so Hector's calling upon all deities to save him from this crocodile and saying like, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, holy shit. The crocodile just kind of seems to be looking at him. And he's like, don't bite my head off. It would cheapen you, he says. Oh. And then he's about ready to get back on the helicopter and he opens up an inflatable raft to trick the crocodile. And it goes and attacks it. And he gets in and he tries to fly away. But the crocodile grabs the helicopter and tries shaking it around. But then the deputy shoots it and it lets go.
Oh,
and so
what a relief.
Okay. Hector's being a big fucking baby as he lands after almost dying. And Jack is like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You almost put someone's life in danger. It's not just your own, you idiot.
Yeah, dude.
You're so stupid.
You're stupid.
And then Kelly's like, oh, you hurt his feelings.
Oh, God, shut up.
I know. So
Kelly's
he has to go talk to him and like make him feel better. And I'm like, that's why I was like, is he like her brother or something? Like, why
it feels
would you
like that at
feel
this
like,
moment,
why would
right?
you care about this? And then she actually goes and talks to Hector. And she's like, did you want to be killed by the crocodile? Because that's really stupid. And he's like, no, maybe. I don't know. In ancient
Mesopotamia?
Macedonia, people accused of a crime would be thrown into the crocodile pit, and the crocodiles then would be the judge of their crimes. I'm like, okay,
shut up.
Shut the fuck up. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Are you going to go back in the water? He's like, there's no way I'm going back in the water. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I will tell them then that you're no longer a weirdo and a threat. But he's like, there's no way I'll let them kill it, though. You can't kill it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And so she goes away. And they say that apparently the Florida Fish and Game are going to try to catch it. I don't know. Crocodiles only exist in Florida because I guess they're experts to fly them all the way up to Maine to catch this crocodile. Like,
right.
That's weird.
I mean, but they know it's a big fucking crocodile.
It's a big crocodile.
It's been killing people. You know, you gotta
pull in the cavalry. I just thought there might be someone in between, Maine and Florida that might know a thing or two about crocodiles.
That's Fish and Wildlife, you mean?
I guess maybe not.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna kill it. But Hector's like, no, we have to find a way to capture it. He's probably like 150 years old. He came and swam all the way from another continent. He does have some ecological value. Look, what we'll do is we'll give him a ton of drugs and trap it in a rope. And everyone's like, I don't know about that.
This really feels like the Megalodon plan. I don't feel like it's gonna work out for
you
guys.
At least in the Meg, they're like, we're just gonna kill this thing
Eventually.
For some reason, there's a weird thing where Hector's like, we're gonna fucking save this thing.
No.
For some reason. So anyway, they steal Betty White's cow with eminent domain. They take it.
I don't like this.
And she's upset by it.
Of course.
And they now tie a cow to a helicopter and they fly it over the water to try to bait him. This is a real cow, by the way. In the water. They
Does it
keep
look
dunking
cool?
him. I mean, yeah, it's a real fucking cow being dunked in the water.
I don't feel like
it doesn't look very happy.
I was gonna say, is the Humane Society showing up for this one?
No, they do make jokes about PETA a lot.
Really?
They're like, oh, PETA's going to be upset by you taking your cow or whatever. It's like, okay, sure. So there's tons of trank guns and real rifles. They're going to shoot the thing. They're going to use the trank guns first. They can't penetrate its back skin. They have to shoot its stomach or its neck.
Right. That's what the soft skin is.
Exactly, a soft skin. So they dunk the cow in the water and doesn't seem to really care. There's nothing going on. And they just keep saying, this isn't a happy cow. And I was like, are they going to say like
happy cows come from California.
And that might have been just us being pilled from California. But I don't know. Betty White is talking to a random sheriff and she's like, I hope the crocodile swallows all your friends whole. And now it's like dark. The crocodile's not showing up. They is not taking the bait. They're about ready to pack up. And Hector says,
The cow disappoints me.
but then he shows up. The crocodile shows up. And they're like, all right, get ready to aim. Get ready to penetrate.
Get ready to penetrate.
So they say.
Yeah.
The crocodile jumps up to try to get the cow, and they shoot it right in the neck. They get it a couple times.
Oh, wow.
But the cow, Hector pulls up. They don't want the cow to die. They really don't. They're just using it for bait to get it exposed. So they pull up, and I'm like, oh, cool. All right, so that's fine. I don't know what the fuck happened, but somehow Hector loses control of the helicopter. By the way, the cow has not been nicked or anything by this crocodile. He just pulled up.
Right.
Standard pulling up maneuver, and he's like, whoa, I can't control this thing. He loses control. The cow breaks loose, falls in the water from underneath the helicopter. So you're like, oh, okay, well, the
cow's dead.
Yeah, you're like, the cow's dead. Big counterweight happened. So now, obviously Hector will be fine. No, Hector fucking crashes still into the water. I don't know how. And the cow was disconnected like on its own. So I'm like, okay, well, now someone's life's in danger. Hector's life's in danger. So we're going to switch to rifles from trank guns. They tell Hector not to move. And he's like, oh, I'm fine. He starts coming around moving. And suddenly the crocodile appears, leaps forward, and knocks Hector into the water. I'm like, oh, shit, he's going to die. He's like, nope, got back on the helicopter. He's fine.
What a relief.
Then suddenly the gator appears on land and tries to kill Hank, our favorite sheriff.
Oh, I love Hank.
I love him. And so this whole CGI alligator, he's on land. He kind of like wrestles with people, like it's close to him, doesn't really eat anyone. And then Kelly gets kind of separated from the group and is forced to swim out to Hector because the crocodile's kind of cornered her against the water. So she swims out to Hector on the helicopter, and starts fine. And but obviously the gator's like, well, now you're in my territory. So starts chasing after her. She hides underwater, behind a log, and the crocodile misses it. And she's like, oh, cool, I made it. This is awesome. And she tries to escape, but her foot got stuck.
Oh, no.
And the gator notices this and comes and tries to bite her, but it gets its teeth stuck on the big log. And then she eventually, because the log's all fucked up.
Log.
Yeah, her big log messed up the gator. So she then swims out up to the helicopter and is like, okay, I'm fine. But then the crocodile, excuse me, I keep saying gator. It's not right.
It's not a gator. It's a crocodile.
The crocodile jumps into the helicopter and gets fucking stuck inside the helicopter and starts sinking it. And everyone's escaping and they're swimming back to the shore.
Stuck inside the helicopter? How?
Like
through the doorways?
Through the doorways. Yeah, it gets stuck in between it.
Sideways, yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, he's suffering. He's trapped. They're like, all right, do we shoot him? Let's shoot him. And they're like, no, the drugs are going to start kicking in real soon. And Jack pulls out a gun. He's like, I'm going to shoot it anyway. And she's like, no, don't shoot him. No. And then he fucking shoots it. But it's a trank gun. And it's
alive still.
So it's alive still.
It's knocked out.
So he's bringing this fucking helicopter, dragging it. He's so big and massive. He's dragging it to shore. And he gets to the shore. and then he falls.
That's like a pretty cool effect.
He falls asleep and sleeps. I mean, honestly, not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Don't lie.
Not lying.
You have to be honest on this podcast.
So yeah, it makes him fall asleep. But then the sheriff is by the water, or no, Hector's by the water. He's like, oh, it's amazing. We got him. He's sleeping. You don't have to kill him. And then another crocodile appears and fucking bites his leg.
There's two crocodiles,
but he gets away. And then Hank shoots the smaller gator with a fucking grenade launcher.
Holy
and
shit.
It explodes into a million pieces.
This is just like the Meg.
It's pretty crazy.
It's not just one Meg, it's two Megs.
But this is a little tiny. This is not as big. It's not nearly as big.
Yeah, that's true.
And then 4 Fish and Wildlife finally appear. And they appear, and they're like, wow, thanks for coming, buddy. And by the way, the cow's fine. It's walking around.
What a relief.
So Hector obviously got attacked by a gator. Crocodile. And he has to go to the ambulance. And they're like, Jack and Kelly are like, oh, man. They're like, we have one more room for someone else. And Hank is like, all right, I'll go with him.
Might as well.
I have no real character resolution with this character, but I guess I respect him for some reason.
He's still alive.
And then Kelly's like, you're such a hero, and gives him a kiss on the cheek. And then she's like, actually, I want to stay at the lake a little longer to say goodbye, Jack. I don't want to leave yet.
This is lame.
And Jack's like, okay, well, if I'm ever in New York, I'll come visit you. And then he gets in his car about ready to drive away, and she comes over to the car and says,
So does nobody ever make a move in Maine? That's it. You slide your duffel bag.
Just get in the truck. We can go for a beer. There's a good bar in town.
Bet that's charming. Are the glasses clean?
Mostly. You gonna complain the whole time?
Jack, start the truck.
I already missed the crocodile.
Wow.
and so then the movie cuts. The last scene of the movie ends with Betty White feeding the little baby. There's little baby crocodiles in the lake. She's feeding them bread.
Oh, no.
So those 2 crocodiles are fucking.
Of course they are.
They made some more. And yeah, and then the credits roll, and then we see a crocodile being transported. I had to look up where it was being transported because it didn't really sound like it. It sounded like it was going to Portland, Maine.
Why?
Don't know what they're going to do to it. No explanation why, but it's being on the back of an 18-wheeler semi-truck because it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of the movie.
And that's the movie. I didn't like it.
Dude,
I've done a complete
ending.
180.
Like when it got stuck in the helicopter, that was the ending. I was like, are you serious? Like, I was like, oh, there's going to be something else after this, right?
Yeah.
I looked and I was like, oh no, this movie's fucking done.
Yeah.
There's nothing else they could do. They're going to wrap up the movie and that's it.
How do you top a crocodile in a helicopter? You can't.
It's so boring though. Like it just gets stuck and kind of drags it around a little bit. And it falls asleep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like
that would be like if at the end of like Jurassic Park, all the dinosaurs just fell asleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they captured it and they win.
Yeah.
And, the weird Hector guy is right.
Yeah.
And is like, we should capture
There was
this
kind
thing.
of like a low body count as far as like main characters. I was so sure Hector was going to die.
No one really died in my half. That was like, actually, did anyone even die?
In your half of the
I
movie?
don't think so.
Just, yeah, not really. I don't
No,
think.
I can't. The cow didn't even die. The cow was fine. I guess the cow that Betty White fed him.
Yes, exactly.
No, yeah, no one died really.
A bear?
No.
A bear and a cow?
I guess the bear died, yeah. So a bunch of animals died. We
Yeah,
don't
but
know
no
them. We don't know
human
their
beings.
backstory. No human beings. They're all fine.
Yeah.
So it was very weird that just kind of ended. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I felt like the stakes should have been ramped up a little bit. But no, everyone was A-okay. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie? What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's not a great movie.
It's pretty fucking bad.
I'm starting to see your viewpoint because I
Yeah.
think it's like all my movies like all promise. I'm like I can't wait to see how these characters interact. I can't wait to see like one of these characters die.
The climactic scene felt like a scene setting up the climactic scene.
Yeah.
And it just was like, no, that's it. Actually, we're good.
That's a real shame.
And I'm like, really?
yeah,
That's all you got?
that's all you got.
And yeah, none of the characters are interesting or fun. They're all poorly written. The bickering between the sheriff and Hector is
it's
just
not
like
fun.
It's not fun at all. It's annoying.
The bickering between the two love interests isn't very interesting either.
They bicker the whole time. They don't even say they like each other.
Yeah.
Until the very end, they still don't like they like each other. The only person that's good is Betty White's character, who just calls like Officer Fuckwit and stuff like that.
Honestly, the
Fuck me.
crocodile sounds pretty great too.
The crocodile's a great effect. I
Yeah.
love the way the crocodile looked. I can't believe it holds up from special effects are like 24 years ago. Or so.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, 25 years ago actually.
To the very day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's a bad movie. It's
not a
also
good
very
movie.
short.
It's very short.
Very, like, too short to the point where I'm like, it could have been longer, actually, which is
added a little
something
bit
we
more
almost
to it.
never say on this podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
But
if you would have added more, it
Lake
would.
Placid just makes me flaccid. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
Put it on the back of the box. Unlike those weird crocodile boners we were looking at earlier.
If we were to give it a rating, F for flaccid.
F for flaccid.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's really not a lot good here, which is kind of a bummer because I felt like I heard.
This was the one I was looking forward to the most.
I thought
and
it was
I
gonna be
enjoyed my half of the movie quite a bit because
Yeah.
of the promise of how this was going to wind up.
I got a couple little fun facts here that I started looking up.
Are they fun?
So the director of this movie, he also did Halloween H2O, which is interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Roger Ebert.
Roger Ebert, what do you say
the
about
Sun-Times.
Robert Ebert?
I don't know why I call him Robert. Described this as a completely wrong-headed from beginning to end. Put this on his 10 worst films of the year.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the Stan Winston thing. Apparently the actual
Stan Winston thing.
this puppetry actually was able to swim because of the motion of the crocodile
That's so
that they're able to do.
cool.
They're able to get to swim, but they were on a very tight time schedule because obviously it's in water.
Right.
So if it was trying to break something, it's trying to break down the super glue, trying to break down the paint. Water's terrible, but we had to do this for 6 months and try to keep it
That's
up
incredible.
up and running. Which is funny because it seemed like a lot of. I mean, the CGI was used when it had to be used, but they did use the practical effect when they could, and it looked cool. It was very cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
that's probably
Stan Winston was the master.
That's the best part of that movie. That's all the fun trivia I have. This movie fucking sucks.
The guy who wrote this movie, David E. Kelley, is a very famous TV show creator and writer. He created Big Little Lies. He created what are the other ones? Love and Death, Lincoln Lawyer,
Lincoln Lawyer,
Presumed Innocent. Yeah, he's a pretty well highly sought after writer. He created Ally McBeal, Chicago Hope. And this was like his big. I guess this was one of his big hits. He also apparently created Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser?
He created Doogie Howser, L.A. Law, and then in between all of that, he was like, "I'm gonna write a little script about a crocodile in the middle of the river."
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie is pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. So did you look up large crocodiles? Were you impressed by any of the photos?
No, I was not impressed by any of the photos.
Did you see it next to a person?
Well, maybe you should show them to me then.
Well, I'm just saying, like, look at this fucking gator right here. That's next to this person. Like, look how big that gator is.
Holy,
dude.
that's a real gator?
That's a real gator, dude.
That gator is massive. That gator is, I want to say, maybe 3-5 times the size of that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got up to like one of the largest ones was called Lo Long. It got up to 20 feet long. It was in captivity.
Wow.
And it weighed 2,300 pounds.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
That's too big.
That's too big. You that's scary.
You
That's
need to
scary
kill that
me.
thing.
They like have the skeleton in the Philippine National Museum because of how big it is.
Jesus Christ.
That's nuts.
The guy who directed this movie also directed an episode of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, that's just for us. That's just for you.
Just
and Mike.
for me and you, baby.
That's it.
Oh boy,
what a rough way to end this series. I was hoping. Usually, we try to end these kind of things. We're like, we're gonna put the fun movie at the end.
We put the fun movie at the very beginning.
We really did.
Kind of went down from there.
Oh, I thought the movie was gonna be bad though. I thought the Final Girls was gonna be kind of a bad movie.
We should have ended on the Final Girls because the Final Girls.
That's true. But Lake Placid, I felt like was the most like summary. Like
it was also the one that like had the biggest name. I think like this is the one everyone.
This is the one I've heard about a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe it'll die with our generation.
Hopefully. Yeah,
guys. I don't think it should last much longer past the millennials. I don't think Gen Z should get into this.
Are you a crocodile? Email us, emailtheotherhalfpodcast.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and on Discord. And if you want to listen to our previous episodes, find them on any podcatching app. And while you're there, please have a 5-star rating and a review. We will read in the show no matter what it says, even if it is a message telling us to go to Maine to investigate a giant crocodile.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a crocodile or alligator?
I don't know the difference. Good night, everybody.